Hi, this is Shin, and welcome to another XCom multiplayer commentary. This match will be played on Grand Cemetery. My opponent's build is 10,000 points. My build is 9950, so with that, I'll have the first turn. Now the build I'm using revolves around smoke jumpers, and I'm using a medic and attack officer for support. You notice I have 3 smoke jumpers with skull suits, light plasma rifles, and no other gear. Then I have another smoke jumper with no armor and just a light plasma rifle, then a medic, and then here finally attack officer. Now the medic only has a med kit and a laser pistol. An attack officer is just bare bones. And the reason I gave the laser pistol to the medic is so that he has an option to tear down cover if he needs to. And because of the points, I can only give 3 skull suits to the smoke jumpers. So I'm not using the medic for damage dealing, and I'm not using attack officer for damage dealing. I'm using them for support roles. And I'm relying on the smoke jumpers for dishing out the damage, soaking up the damage. Now, the goal behind this build is to condense your units up and focus fire down your opponent. Now normally if you try to do this, you suffer counterattacks. They can come, they can flank you, they can deal a ton of damage, and they'll whittle down your forces so quickly that your attack loses its effectiveness. But by using the smoke jumper's smoke out of cover, you prevent any crit bonus they might get. So that allows you to move wherever you want and get the line of sight that you need to focus fire down your opponent. Now normally, you're stuck with taking high cover positions or low cover positions, and it kind of forces your units to spread out a bit. But here, since you're able to take any position you want, you can really get on your opponent and focus fire down individual units with some precision. So one thing I have to be aware of is early game nades, early game rockets. So I'm hiding the bulk of my units out of line of sight in that full cover area. And I'm advancing this skull suit smoke jumper up to the roof so that I can set up a good scout for my turn 2. And then my medic at the front here, I'm just going to position him out of line of sight so I can scout on the following turn as well. So they wouldn't do any good on Overwatch, it doesn't help me, so just putting them on hunker down is just a quick way to end the turn. Now what I'm doing is relying on my audio, relying on any kind of positional information I can get to know where to position my units. This is some builds are kind of like gimmicky builds, like squad sight builds where they're relying on vision to combo, or you've got stem that's relying on maybe a battle scan to set up the attack. This doesn't have that kind of scouting built into it, so it's more of a positional based play, and it's very reliant on audio and understanding how spread out your opponent is. If you hear a team of 6 and they're all condensing together, then you need to rethink how you're going to attack that. But if you're hearing 2 or 3 units that seem to be spread out, that's where this build is really going to shine, because it focuses down on your opponent. So getting back to the positioning, as a safety I've placed these units out of line of sight just to see what would happen if he scouted, if he had rockets, anything like that. I don't see anything yet, so I'm just going to play it slow, do some precautions with my scouting just to poke my corners, make sure everything's looking okay, and then from there I can set up more positions. Now I don't want to spread out too far because I want all of my units to be able to come together for an attack depending on where I see my opponent. If I'm too spread out, I won't be able to accomplish this, and it basically negates the whole purpose of this squad composition. Now, one thing I noted when I was listening to his audio is that it seemed like his left side was pretty strong. So that's why I'm focusing more on the right side, because my hope is to pick off some kind of scout on his right side, weaken his forces, and then start going back to his left side. But it all depends on how he advances and his positioning as well. So here, I'm listening to the audio. It seems like he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. So I've got movement on the right. Now, it wasn't a run, it was just a move. And that'll tell me that he's on Overwatch, so I'm not going to make big moves with my units. I'm just going to poke my corners and try to find a target. If I heard a dash, then I would probably move my whole group over to that location and try to get that unit. So here we've got a scout on my left side. He's got 9 life with a laser, a plasma rifle. So that tells me it's probably a smoke jumper and a skull suit with LPR, maybe a scope. Now here comes the smoke, so pretty much confirms that. Now he's got 20 defense plus his 10 for skull suit plus another 20 for the smoke. So that's going to give me minus 50. My units only have 80% aim. That's why I bring along attack smoke, so that I can dump a drug smoke, give my guys the extra plus 20, and start making these 30% shots more like coin flips. With enough shots, something's going to hit. Alright, so now is the time to focus down on this isolated unit. Now, I'm not going to bunch my units too close together, just in case he has poison or something, and I still have to be wary of any kind of grenades or anything like that, so bunching them up too much is usually a bad idea. Just keeping them one tile away from each other creates enough of a spread that I can have some sort of defense against area of effect. Now here I'm going to drop the smoke. This is regular smoke. This will prevent any crits against me from being out of cover. And then I'll drop the attack officer's drug smoke to give me the extra aim I need to start making coin flip shots. Now, I'm putting these units out of cover because if he flanks me, he'll get crit bonus from me being in cover and being flanked. But being out of cover, he won't get crit bonus so long as I'm in the smoke. And here you can see, after taking enough shots on coin flips, eventually the damage gets through. And you'll also notice that I got the crit because I get plus 20 on crit as well from the drug smoke. Now that the unit's gone, I'm going to retreat the medic, get him on the line of sight, because if he does come in and he takes any damage on these units, I'll have to go in there and heal, possibly revive, it just depends. So I'm trying to protect the medic. I did position him for follow-up shots against that smoke jumper he had out, the isolated unit, just in case I missed some of my coin flips and I could finish the job with the medic. Now here's another unit that was isolated. So again, it's a 6 versus 1 scenario. All these units are pretty well defended, and if damage does come through, I'm not worried about it doing massive amounts of damage, because he doesn't have the crit percent that he needs. He gets 10% from his LPR, but since I'm in smoke, he doesn't get the extra 50 for me being out of cover. So he does get a good shot opportunity with a high shot percent, but he doesn't get the good damage. And that's what it's really all about, is focusing fire all my units on his one unit so that he doesn't have enough firepower to really effectively deal with it. And here it's either a commander or a sectoid, I don't know what else he has, but at this point he sees the majority of my units and he's scouted the unit composition I have. So he should know he can get away with grouping his units up. And that's exactly what he should be doing. He shouldn't be spreading his units out. That's going to give me all these shots against his isolated units. Eventually they're going to fall, and then I'll just progressively steamroll the rest of his composition. Now at this point, I did take some damage. I can heal him up with the medic. And then I can get these guys into more defensive positions.
Ideal, Commander.
So I'm purposely leaving cover for the attack and then getting into cover for the defense. But you'll notice I'm not spreading out too much, and I'm not worried about scouting him as much, because now I can basically move around as a group if I need to. I also don't have much fear of psi abilities or mind control or anything, because if he was to take a unit, I can simply advance with the rest of my units and then kill the commander if that becomes the case. So I don't need assaults with big heavy guns like alloy cannons to take down a commander, because I have enough firepower already. I don't need big heavy plasma rifles or sniper lasers or headshots or anything like that to deal with commanders, simply because I have enough stuff already. So the points that I would have spent on a big weapon to take down a threat, I can simply spread out amongst smaller units like smoke jumpers and things and deal with it in that way, which makes it very hard for the opponent to deal with this many units, because he just doesn't have enough actions per turn. Here he tosses a nade. You know, it's not a kill, and that's what he needs. He needs killing shots. He needs to start cutting down my numbers, or else I'm just going to have more actions than him every single turn. It's just going to equate to more and more of an advantage as I weaken his team. And here the lightning reflexes triggers. It only stops one shot, so the other damage gets through. And that unit's going to die next turn. So yeah, he gets the kill, but hey, he bleeds out. Well, the medic can heal him, so I'll be back at full capacity the following turn, and he'll be down another unit. So there's no reason for me to deal with the commander with everything.
Kill confirmed.
I'd rather deal with the assault first. And the reason being, the commander already used his best move. He used the grenade. So now the best that the commander could do would be a double mind fray, mind control, maybe a crit plasma pistol shot. And I just have enough stuff that it doesn't matter. He can kill a unit or whatever, and I'll have enough stuff just to overrun him. So the game is basically over. In this position, there's too much for him to deal with, and not enough support for him to keep that commander alive or make it effective. Now here I have a 35% shot. Instead of taking the shot at a low percent, I'd rather just give extra crit to my my smoke jumper and extra aim, make sure he gets his damage in. And that will pretty much seal the deal. Now 70% doesn't pull through on my crit, but that's fine. 5 damage is plenty enough.
Moving to Overwatch.
If he tries to run away, and then maybe I'll get some Overwatch damage on him. That's the whole point of that. So what do you do against something like this, where there's just massive amounts of plasma shots coming at you and tons of units that you have to take down? Well, the best way to deal with it is to condense your units as well. Because if you're spread out, you're going to start losing one unit at a time. That's why the strategy works. Take down any kind of healing that they have, and give them low shot percents. So,
Kill confirmed. No rounds.
I hope you enjoyed this commentary. Good luck, and have fun. Hi, this is Shin, and welcome to another XCom multiplayer commentary. Sorry, the audio cut out there.
This is a fun little match. Just using a BS build. 6 sectoids, 2,400 points versus 10,000 points. This is on bar, yeah. And obviously, you know, I'm gonna get first turn. So, 6 sectoids. Why? Well, because it's fun. These are the most basic generic units you can get. They have awesome abilities, and they just look kind of cool too. You know, I think sectoids are totally underrated and definitely underpriced. For 2,600 points, you get a team of 6, and they can buff each other up through mind merge. They can hit pretty decent on flanks, and that's really how to play these little monsters. Get into flanks and dish out the damage. Hell, you don't even need the flanks, really. With mind merge, bam, you got 35% to crit. That's pretty decent. That's like a plasma sniper. So we'll see how this plays out. I do run 6 sectoid a lot, and it's strange because I use it for practice, really. With 6 sectoids, you're going to lose them with one shot. So you keep them on a line of sight, you practice your scouting, you practice your poke checks and suppression and looking for the optimal time to attack, because if you don't, you'll just get rolled hard. So with 6 toids, it kind of forces you to get better. You know, if you're leaving them in the open, you're leaving them on the corners, and you're taking risky maneuvers and stuff, you're just going to get destroyed. So we're on bar. I like bar. I think it's a pretty well balanced map. What other people think with starting locations is kind of bullshit, really. Depending on your squad composition, you can have the advantage from parking lot second turn even. So I'm using 6 toids. He's using whatever the hell. I don't really care. I'm just gonna try to scout effectively, stay out of line of sight, see what happens. Now, after the patch, you'll notice that door opened, there was no icon. No icon. That's different before the patch. Previously, that little icon would pop up anytime anybody got by a door, whether it's in the fog of war or not. You'll also notice the icon didn't pop up there when he ran through the door. So, it's my understanding now that they messed with the icon a little bit, and what it tells me is that if you haven't established vision there yet, it won't show. But if you have established vision, it will show. So the icon's still there to your opponent, but only if they can kind of see that area anyways. So I like that change. I think it's a great visual indicator. It's a great scouting indicator, and just be aware of that. You can get away with camping doors now in the fog of war, as long as your opponent isn't near. So what am I going to do with 6 sectoids? Well, generally pick off 1 unit at a time. That's the best way to run it. Try not to group up too much. I don't want to die in one turn to a single grenade. So you notice all my stuff is hidden. Here we got a running gun, and we've got another running gun. The other one's pretty beefy, and he spent a ton of points on that alloy cannon. Okay, that's fine. That's a little overkill for my little sectoids, but sweet, let's do it. So, I'm not going to attack. There's no reason to. He doesn't have lightning reflexes, so what I'm going to do is put these guys in a position so they're out of line of sight, just barely, and then try to get some overwatch damage on him. That way when he comes in, he's already weakened, he might get a unit, and then I can finish the job. So, a lot of players, they have big beefy units, they have run gun, they play overly aggressive, and they're like, yeah, I can run out there and destroy shit. And you can't. I mean, you go out there and eat some damage, yeah, and you get a kill, yeah, but what do you do about his counterattack? So here he's running out. You see a little green arrow on him because he's got running gun active. And he's got Titan plus alloy cannon. He ate a little damage trying to get into position. I think that was a bad position. He should have been in some kind of cover whatsoever. Just anything, low cover, I don't know, something. He's not stemmed, so running out there like that, bad idea. But I think, you know, he saw my point total in the start, so he's probably overconfident, like, oh, I'll just roll this guy. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. So, he took a shot on the sectoid in 40 defense from the high cover with an alloy cannon. I mean, running gun, he probably could have used the running gun. I don't know. He's got 67% to start, minus the 40. He had, like, no shot. He's had, like, 27 on a normal, like, LPR, but he's using a shoddy, so it's even less. He might have had 20% shot, but he takes the shot. I wouldn't have done that. I would have retreated the guy. But whatever. So here we finally got a unit on the roof. Here's the other running gun, and he runs out of time. So I think it's time to take the advantage. He leaves this guy wide open. It's time to pick some cherries here. So sectoids kind of suck. Low aim, 65%. Horrible damage. These plasma pistols, I don't know, 6 damage? It's pretty strong, if they're in a flank. 93% to hit. Ooh, 4 damage credit. That would do the job. That's fine, now he's in kill range. Now here, I'm moving him to the edge, not to do the kill shot. I'm going to try to kill with the other units first. He's sort of my backup. Like, if I miss my shots, then I'll use the guy on the little delivery van corner there to suppress the sniper. Alright, cool. So I get my snipe shot. There he goes. One big unit taken down by a bunch of Keebler elves. And let's get some damage on this guy too. 100%? Yeah, sure, I'll take it. And I get the crit. It was a coin flip, but I got the crit. Not as much as I'd like, but hey, 4 is good enough. Alright, let's suppress this guy. Take his aim out. And he really doesn't have any shot opportunities because I'm staying on line of sight. So suppressing what little opportunities he has is kind of a safety thing. That way I can rush him down with whatever I got left after I take this assault down. So 3 health. He's an assault. He has no LPR. Yeah, his aim's not that great. If he takes some cover, I can usually take the cover down with missed plasma shots, and then I get really nice shots with crit bonus on top of it. That's what the sectoids want. They want that crit bonus so that their plasma pistol becomes more accurate than LPR. Now, I don't condone 6 sectoid builds. These are kind of a joke build. It's a little fun build. But this goes to show the strength of the sectoid, and you can't count them out. Since they're so cheap, and they have so many synergies with other units through mind merge, they're awesome to win. Anytime I run a commander, always, guaranteed, I will have a sectoid, just for the will boost. And sometimes, if I'm running a heavy alien type build, I'll have the sectoid too, because they're like mini medics with their mind merge. Give them a +1, it stays. So here I take the cover. I don't care about the vulnerability of my sectoid because I want the kill, but I do care about line of sight on the sniper over there. So I'm blocking that by taking that section of the van, and I'm just going to block all line of sight. So, you know, a lot of players think, hey, I got a big gun, I can just do massive damage. No. You need line of sight. You need positioning. You need strategy. You need tactics. Having, I don't know, I think a 3-unit team is sort of middle of the road-ish. You know, if you're going to play strong units, play one big strong unit with support. Otherwise, play smaller units with synergy. Now here I make a mistake. I shouldn't have rushed him out. I should have taken the corner first, suppressed the sniper, and then rushed him out. But I feel if I just throw everything at him, he's not going to have enough shots and be able to do enough to finish the team, so I'm just trying to finish it quickly. But the better play, if I was using smoke jumpers or a real team here, I would have taken the corner and suppressed or something instead. So now what's he going to do? You know, he's got a big old gun, that big frickin' plasma rifle that can do massive amounts of damage. He only needs 3 to kill. Well, he can't do that with his pistol. And hitting me with the plasma is kind of overkill. So 4 versus 1. I think my squad total here is still way under, hell, what is it? Close to the amount of plasma sniper. I got 1,200 points here, and he's got just about that much wrapped up in his plasma snipe. So it goes to show that these heavy weapons and this shit like heavy plasmas and plasma snipers, it's too much. Way too much. And honestly, I think the price of them need to be dropped. There's really no reason to use them. Because you can one-shot just about anything with the laser snipe as it is. There's only a few units that you need to take down with a plasma sniper. So, if you're running a snipe, don't use plasma. Use laser. Now I scouted him a little bit and I saw that he had marksman. If he moves, he's screwed, he can't shoot, and that's when I can attack. So I'm moving all these guys to hit him in a flank. And I'm going to move another guy up to the top just to keep eyes on him to see what he's doing. And it's also to delay him. You know, if he sees a unit, he sees something, so he might just hold tight thinking I'm going to advance. But if I go to the top of the ladder and I stay on that first tile of the ladder, it's not going to trigger his Overwatch. There's not shit he can do. So I'm cutting him off, basically. If he drops down to the bottom, I'll run right back in, start taking flank shots. If he escapes, tries to retreat from the roof, I'm already in position where I can get flank shots. So I'm tightening the vice as it is. And again, doing another poke check at the top just to keep eyes on him. And it also is a distraction while my other units are getting ready to set up their flank shots. So here he is camping out on the corner there. Just sitting on his plasma snipe, that's fine. And I'm just waiting for him to do something so I can strike. So here I'm slowing things down a little bit. I'm going to listen to his audio. And he probably feels the pressure. Now he's starting to move. So he's starting to hit his panic mode right now. And he's decided to move. What he doesn't realize is that I've already got my trap set up for when he did move. And I'm going to go ahead and spring it. So he moved in the hunker. You know, his pistol on Overwatch wouldn't have done anything. It would have done 1 to 2 damage. He wouldn't have killed anything. So he couldn't have moved into plasma snipe. And since he's flanked, he doesn't get his hunker down ability, and the game is basically over at this point. So Sectoid. Oh no. Looks like the Sectoid just threw a bunch of tomatoes on him. Making spaghetti out of his suit. Oh no. Strawberry jam. With plasma bukkake. So what do you do? I mean, what do you do against 6 Sectoids? Well, if you can't beat 6 Sectoids with your build, dump your build. End of story. There is no reason you should lose to 6 Sectoids. Ever. No matter who's using the Sectoids. Dump your build. Time to change. Something is wrong. Just about any 6 unit build will beat a 6 Sectoid build. And it goes to show that there is strength in numbers. So I hope you enjoyed this commentary. I hope you've learned something from this commentary. Use more units and strengthen those units through synergy. Good luck and have fun.